Okay, welcome everybody. Dobrodošli. I'm pleased that you're joining us today. Please be advised that we're recording today's seminar and the video will be posted on the CanSlo YouTube channel. I'm Sonia Rosenworth, the executive for the Canadian Slovenian Chamber of Commerce, known as the CSCC. The CSCC was founded 35 years ago and is a primary resource in promoting and supporting bilateral commerce between Slovenia and Canada. It's through events such as this that we hope to inspire you and provide resources and connections for your success. Hello to Mr. John Doma. John, if you could unmute. John is our Slovenian Honorary Consul General for Canada, Treasurer for the European Union Chamber of Commerce, and President of the CSCC. Thank you so much for being on the call today, John.
Hey, dobro jutro vsem. I will speak English, if that's okay with everybody. I do want to thank Sonia and Tally and Karen for organizing this, and of course Simon. We do try as much as we can to connect Slovenia with Canada and Canada with Slovenia, both ways. We work very, very diligently in that and very hard on that. So excuse my appearance. This is tax time for me, very, very busy time in Canada. We've got challenges here as well. And of course, the whole trade and tariff issues that we've got down south with our neighbors has been very, very difficult here in Canada for many of my clients, and a lot of concerns are being conveyed. I'm being told by a lot of professionals in the United States, that's just Trump's way of negotiating. And, he's not going to be, implementing this. And I know Europe is also reeling and suffering from this indecision, and he changes his mind. So it creates a lot of uncertainty. We don't like uncertainty here in Canada, and I don't think Europe does either. And that's going to create a lot of concerns for us down the pipe. But let's not focus on that. Let's focus on how we can help each other to facilitate the trade between Canada and European countries, which in particular we have an interest in Slovenia. So we'll try and do what we can to help you. One thing I just want to be clear on everybody is that what Sonia and I and our board of directors are do is we try and facilitate connections. At the end of the day, it's hard for us to sell products, and many Slovenian companies come to us, especially in the past, about selling their product, and then they'll go from there. We can't do that. We can just connect you with people that sell. I think more of the recent companies, we've had many come to Canada, and we open doors for them. It's up to you and them to be able to walk through the door and start, discussion about sales, trade, and the ability to do that. And I know Slovenia produces a lot of phenomenal products. It's not always based on price. I think a lot of people look for quality products, and those are the people you want to deal with here in Canada that look for that. And they're not going to be paying, inexpensive prices for that as we do. And as Europe has all been inflicted with Chinese cheaper products, although we got to be wary of China. They are starting to produce better products. We all know that, but their costs are going to go up as well. Anyways, welcome everybody and look forward to the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Doma. Today, we're presenting phase 2 of Investing in Slovenia, a workshop on how to pitch to Canadian investors. Our mutually beneficial trade environment between Canada, Slovenia, and the EU is becoming stronger, as John said, stronger than ever due to the geopolitical changes that are underway. Opportunities for Slovenian companies are rapidly opening as Canada lessens their reliance on the US and looks towards Europe for products and services. Thanks to CETA, which is the Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, 98% of European goods have preferential access to Canada's market, meaning they enter tariff-free or at a preferential rate. Mr. Pribac will talk more on that. Today's event is a workshop to provide you with knowledge and tools to better influence potential Canadian investors. Our speakers are experts in transformational and influential communication with years of experience training executives and their teams to perform successfully and reach their highest potential. Ms. Karen Fox, co-founder and CEO of OHI Global Technologies, will share how her company transforms communities by providing better experience to its members, leading to stronger brand loyalty, decreased turnaround, and increased revenue. Our keynote speaker, Ms. Tali Corin, is the founder and principal trainer of her namesake company, where she equips leaders and teams with the tools to craft a compelling story to an audience that listens and they want more. We greatly appreciate the collaborative relationship that we have with the Slovenian Embassy in Ottawa. And today, Mr. Simon Pribac, Slovenian Trade Commissioner, is hosting this event from the Spirit Slovenia offices in Ljubljana. Thank you to Today Dobrauc Vrbic for helping to organize the event, and to Spirit Slovenia for letting us use their space. We ask that you please stay muted during the presentations. Our speakers will provide ample opportunities to participate and to answer questions that you have. I also promise to provide you with contact information so that you may continue your dialogue through the CSCC or directly to them. Additionally, we will address your comments and inquiries in the Q&A session at the end of the presentations. Of course, if you're on Zoom, you can use the chat to share your questions and comments. A survey will pop up at the end of the seminar and also will be emailed to you. Please provide your feedback so that we continue to provide CSCC business insights on the topics that you're interested in. Now, I'm pleased to introduce Mr. Simon Pribac, Trade Commissioner from the Slovenian Embassy in Ottawa, Canada, and the Canadian Investment with the Canadian Investment over. I can't talk. With the Canadian Investment Overview. Simon, your presentation. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Sonia, and thank you everyone for joining. Do you see my presentation? Yes?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to be very quick. I'm just going to say a few words about Canadian investment environment. Now, just a quick overview. Canada is known for its economic stability. It's among the most stable economies in the G7. In the last year, the projected growth was 1.3% of projected growth of the economy. It's a very globally competitive business environment. It's ranked number 2 in the G20 for ease of doing business and a top destination for foreign investment. Also, Canada offers a great focus on sustainability. Canada is a leader in green bonds, ESG investments, and sustainable infrastructure projects. Sonia mentioned a few words about CETA. How many of you know CETA here? How many of you have heard of this agreement? No? Okay. Since 2017, the Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement between Canada and European Union has been provisionally implemented. This agreement, among the rest, it eliminates 98% of import-export tariffs on goods traded between the countries. It majorly simplifies the customs procedures and enhances market access for investors. So investors are protected from both sides. Another thing is it also opens opportunities for public procurement. Now, Slovenian companies are equal to Canadian companies when it comes to public procurement. So if, for example, City of Toronto is looking to buy benches or streetlights, if your company produces that, there is a public tender, and any Slovenian company can compete for those tenders. So at any time, if you need more information on that, Ms. Sonia Rosenwerth at Canadian Slovenian Chamber and myself at the Embassy are more than willing to help with the further info and process. Canada and European have about $1 trillion commercial relationship. Now, EU is investing a lot into Canada, and Canada is investing a lot into EU. So just to go through some key stats, the EU foreign direct investment stock in Canada has been $158.1 billion in 2023. And EU companies and affiliates employ almost 500,000 people in Canada. Now, the current trends are there's a growth in critical minerals, digital media, green infrastructure, and advanced manufacturing. This is what Europe is mostly investing in Canada. And CETA benefits for EU investors into Canada are there's higher threshold for government review, and there's equal treatment under Canadian regulations, which ensures fair competition, thanks to CETA agreement. Also, Canada invests even more into Europe than Europe invests into Canada. So the Canadian foreign direct investment stock in the EU has been 287.2 billion in 2023. And Canadian companies and affiliates employ about 275,000 people, almost 278,000 people across all the EU member states. So Canada is investing more into Europe, but Europe is employing more Canadians on location. So it's beneficial for both of us. The trends in terms of Canadian investment into Europe are expansion into energy, mining, automotive, aerospace, and technology sectors. There are CETA benefits, of course, for Canadian investors. So secure market access under transparent rules across the EU. Which makes European Union an extremely stable partner and extremely stable investment destination for Canadians. And there are also enhanced collaboration opportunities through Horizon Europe. You probably know the program. It's the biggest funding program for scientific research, not just in history of Europe, but in history ever. With 95 billion euros of funding pool, and Canada just joined this year. So amazing opportunities for both sides to work together. Just a quick impact of CETA on bilateral trade and investment flows. We have values from 2023. Now, I mentioned that before. So EU FDI to Canada, 158.1 billion, and Canadian FDI to European Union, 287.2 billion. And you see the amount of jobs under. So almost 500,000 Canadians employed by EU companies, and about 275,000 Europeans employed by Canadian firms. Now, oh yeah, and as you see here, the merchandise trade has gone up by 57.5% since CETA implementation. So, of course, it's much easier to do business. Canada is the closest trading partner to EU of all the countries outside of EU. So, in the closest partner in multiple levels. Of course, doing business without tariffs, without import-export tariffs is so much easier. And investment, as I mentioned, is protected both ways. So there are some strategic advantages of two companies investing in Canada. One is market access. As mentioned before, there we have duty-free trade agreement and simplified customs procedures under CETA. There is access to about 3.3 trillion worth of contracts across all levels of government in Canada through public procurement. Canadian-Slovenia Chamber of Commerce is doing pretty much on annual or biannual basis workshops on how to enter Canadian procurement, together with one of the provincial ministries and one of the federal ministries. And if you'll be interested in that, as I said, get in touch with us. We'll put you in that project. We'll put you in this workshop, and we can help you on location. And at the same time, Canada is gateway to the rest of North America. Its strategic proximity to United States and Mexico is offering access to both markets under favorable conditions. Even now, with the current situation that John mentioned, it's still much easier to enter the U.S. market and, of course, Mexican market from Canada. There's a lot of opportunities for collaboration and innovation. There is a lot of sustainability investments going on. There's growing demand for green bonds and ESG focused funds, which aligns with EU priorities. And again, as I mentioned, Horizon Europe as the innovation partnership opens tremendous opportunities. Now, there are some challenges for investors. So a challenge is regulatory scrutiny under the Investment Canada Act, and the current geopolitical tensions are impacting trade policies, although the trade policies between Canada and EU seems extremely stable, and I cannot foresee any big shifts in Canada-EU relations in terms of trade and investment. And of course, as I mentioned, CETA offers solutions, which is transparent investment rules that ensure fair treatment, simplified customs procedures, reduced costs and delays, and enhanced cooperation, which mitigate risks through predictable frameworks. So in conclusion, Canada's stable economy and regulatory environment make it a top destination for foreign investment, particularly from the European Union under the CETA provisions. CETA offers unprecedented opportunities for EU companies to expand operations in Canada's growing sectors like green energy, advanced manufacturing, and infrastructure development. And leveraging CETA benefits can unlock long-term growth potential in bilateral investment flows between both Canada and the EU. So that would be it from me. You can find me, if you're looking for me, you can find me at the Embassy of Republic of Slovenia in Ottawa. Here is my contact if you need to get in touch. Also, I believe you all got Ms. Rosenworth's contact. And if you want to connect further, please do. Next, let me just, next I would like to introduce Ms. Karen Fox, who I had the pleasure of knowing for many, many years. Karen Fox was the former director of Canada-Slovenia Chamber of Commerce for many years. Canada was also the main person behind Canada-Israel Chamber of Commerce. She grew the organization to a huge amount of members and organized a lot of investment conferences, which are very successful, getting a lot of funding for international companies. And we're really happy to have Karen with us. Karen, please go ahead.
Thank you, Simon, and hi, everyone. I'm happy to be here. The topic that we're speaking today is about authentic networking. And the reason why I selected it for this, it's because it's the heart of networking. It's not only about transaction, it's about relationship building. And I will start from a small story after the agenda. So what we're speaking about today is what is authentic networking, strategies, how to make it authentic, how to keep the authenticity also online, what daily ritual you can do, and what action point in order to be authentic and to benefit from your growing network. So authentic networking is about genuine relationship, and your success depends on it. And I want to start with a small story. I arrived to build our platform, networking platform. I was networking all my life. And you know, networking, we speak about strategies online, but when you post online and you do it with a personal touch, one of the person that was following me contacted me after some post, and we met and we continued relationship. And then when the time came to launch my first product, the platform, she gave me the opportunity. And it's only through networking that this opportunity arrived. And this is what the aspect that we're going to focus on the relationship building that will bring you these benefits. So what is actually authentic networking? It's not about the collecting contacts. When you go in events, it's not about having the conversation and just collecting as many business contacts as you can. It's about really connecting with people. And in order to connect, it's not about asking, what do you do? It's about asking people that will make asking questions such as what made you arrive to this point, or what, how do you feel about it? Make the person more engaged, because he will remember you. He won't remember your title necessarily or anything else you're doing, but he will remember how you make them feel. So it's not about also selling. If you're trying to come and sell your product, people feel it, and people don't like to be sold to, but they like to be listened. So when you engage with people, try to listen to what they need, and then remember it down the way. You can still sell at later point, but it's not like selling. It's more about giving them a solution to their problem. And prioritize authentic networking is also about prioritizing human connection over professional gain. So again, when we meet people at an event, don't just look at the moment, this person is relevant to what I'm looking for, and this person is not relevant, because then if it's not relevant at the moment, it will stop there. But when you build a relationship and you engage in a real conversation, then the connection starts years after, the same way the connection with me and Simon, from 15 years ago. And down the road, they will remember you when they have a relevant opportunities. And choose quality over quantity. So instead of going to multiple events and just have this multiple business cards, and then just send them cold email and keep them on your distribution list, it doesn't make it personal. Focus on the key relationship, and we will speak about strategies next. And this key relationship will be meaningful in opening doors for you for whatever you will be looking to do. So strategy, I mentioned it a little bit before. When I speak about lead with curiosity, so when we have a conversation, and many of you, I'm sure, were at multiple business events, we go like a bee from person to person, trying to make it, to collect as many contacts as we can. But when you're really interested in people, when you start a conversation and try to find something interesting in what they're doing, not only looking for the transaction, but looking to build a relationship. So if they do something interesting, you can, instead of asking how much you sell, or here I can give you this, or I can give you this solution, just try to bring yourself in and try to be a little bit even vulnerable and share your stories that can help them. So curiosity is about asking questions about them, not only about their product or their position, and try to make it a little bit, again, not too long. You're in a conference, but you're also trying to build a relationship. So when you have a conversation, listen. Don't wait for your turn to say what you want to say. Listen deeply and meaningfully, and try to, what I do when I network, when I meet with a person, I keep asking them questions until I find something that I can help them with or connect them with. And in any conversation, I can do it. And this leads us to the next point of be generous. Because once you find these things that you can help with, then be generous, give tips, give connection, introduce them to people, even if they don't have any immediate value for you. And when you follow up with meaningful, not just with cold email, I met you at this event and let's connect. Because when I get many emails after a conference, I ignore most of them, because they are not personal. And we will get to the next point of the online, how to be authentic in online networking as well. But when you're being generous, mean give tip, give advice, give whatever you can give to the other person without looking for immediate reward. The reward, much greater reward, will come after. So when we speak online, lots of the networking is happening online as well, and it can be very meaningful. when you connect with someone online, you can personalize every connection request. So not just if someone even connected to you, or you want to connect with someone, let's say on LinkedIn, you don't just accept it and that's it, or send a connection request. Try to be personal. If you met them or heard them speaking at a conference, if you read an article they were writing, or try to be personal in the sentence of why you are connecting them, and you will get much more success rate and much more connection confirmation. And these people will remember you and will bother and put the effort to look into your profile when they do it. When you comment on something online, instead of just saying nice or like, if this person is relevant, can be relevant for your future goals, even if it's not immediate, try to comment with it in a thoughtful way, in more deeper way, in a more personal way, mentioning what they actually said, or mentioning something that they will see that you were really interested. It will keep you in their mind. And when you approach people online, if you're trying to get to Canada or to any other place, try to share a story, not just a resume, or not just the product page, or not just the general things. Try to make it personal with a story, or with something that is bringing you forward, to be seen among all the other requests they are getting. This way, there are more chances you will actually get response back. What kind of ritual we can do? Like it can be 5 minutes daily ritual in order to develop meaningful network that can lead to your next professional breakthrough. So at least every day, connect with one person genuinely. Genuinely mean not just the connection request on LinkedIn, but actually giving the time to open a conversation, not just a sale pitch, but actually a conversation with people in the line to whatever line you're standing for, during lunchtime, in conference, when you sit next to someone. Just start a conversation. This conversation can many times leads to a door that you were trying to open for a long time, or if people are looking for the next professional position, it can advance their career, because if you know 85% of job vacancies are filled by networking. And if you don't network, then even if you apply to multiple jobs, and specifically for senior people, the more chances you will get where you want to get and meet and get the business. 40% of deals are closed in person and based on personal relationship. So it's very important to connect. Engage with at least one past connection, not with anything specific that you want from them now. Just call to ask how they're doing, how can you help them, see what they're doing at the moment. If you do it every day for one person or two people, it will keep you in line, and you will also learn about hidden opportunities that are not advertised, and even before they're advertised, because you had this conversation with the people. Be generous and share tips, resources, anything you can with your network or the person you're speaking. Share at least one tip or one gift that you have with at least one person a day. And don't forget to send thank you letter and thank people that open door for you or just gave you the opportunity, or at least every day send one thank you letter, personalized thank you note. People like it, and they will remember you. They will remember how you made them feel. They won't remember your name, they won't remember your position, but they will remember how you make them feel. So how we make our networking authentic? We be real. Don't tell different stories. Don't be just focused on your professional goal. Professional goals are important, but you can get much more if you are personal and real and authentic. Be curious about other people. Don't focus and only speak about yourself and what you're looking for. Give it time to be curious about the other person. Ask real questions and get interested in what they are doing. But again, be human. When I say be human, be generous and be nice and give of yourself to others. It can go a long way. You will need less with a smaller network, but meaningful one. You can get much further than multiple contacts that don't know you personally.
Karen, thank you very much. I know we're cutting it short, but we are very pressed for time. By the way, Karen has a lot to offer as she runs a networking platform called Oh Hi. This platform is used by different businesses, business associations, and community organizations across Canada and other countries as well. I would encourage you to get in touch and please take photo of her contact. Karen, thank you so much for joining us. And next, I would like to introduce the next speaker that we have with us today. This is Ms. Tali Koren, or Koren. Ms. Tali Koren has worked with hundreds of leaders across various industries, including startups, enterprises, venture capitals, and academic institutions in Canada, US, Latin America, EMEA, and APAC to create impactful presentations that drive their audience to action. When you're only got a couple of minutes to pitch your product, clarity is everything. Tali's interactive virtual workshops drive into the three core elements of any compelling pitch: the big idea, the problem statement, and the solution statement. You also have it with you, and you've received it before. This helps define your purpose with a laser focus. Anyways, we have Tali here. Enough from me. Tali will tell a little bit more about herself, and I'm really excited to have Tali here and have this workshop going. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Simon. If we could just do two quick technical things. First, I'd like to see my audience. Thank you. And the second technical thing that I would like, can you make sure that I'm the main person on the screen? Because right now I'm like a very small little thumbnail on your screen. Can you like put a pin onto the screen in terms of the large screen that you're presenting?
Tali, you are on our side. You are the main person on the screen.
Okay,
so
great.
You probably see us as the main thing on your end. We see us
No.
the main thing on our end.
A moment ago, I saw your screen and I wasn't the main thing. That's why I'm checking, but I'm glad to see that you've resolved it. Hi, everyone. Very wonderful to meet you. So my first question when we get into this discussion on how do we create an impact in just 5 minutes, given the fact that we're talking to Canadian investors, perhaps virtually, given the fact that perhaps English is not our mother tongue, most likely as this audience here, and given the fact that we need to really crystallize what is our product, what is the problem, and what is the solution that we're solving. My first question, and I'd like to see a show of hands, how many have already pitched to Canadian investors? Hands up. I see one, I see two. Hi, very high. I want to see. Okay, so I want to hear from the one or two. If we can, if you can please share with us just a quick sentence or two about the product and who you pitched to from the two who have raised their hands. Simon, do you think that you can help us with that? Because we can't hear them at all.
Maybe you come a bit closer.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We just want to have to speak a bit louder.
Yes.
Into this. Yes.
Thank you so much. So far, we can't hear anything. So far, it's silence.
Can you
Simon, when you speak, I hear you, but I'm not hearing a word from him.
Daniel, maybe.
Test. 1, 2, 3, test.
Yes, perfect.
Great.
Perfect.
Hi.
Thank you. Thank you for bearing with us. What's your name?
My name is Daniel.
Hi, Daniel. Please share with us in the group.
Thanks. So I'm a representative of KW Slovenia. We are in a real estate business, so we are networking for connections between Slovenian and Canadian investors. This was our main goal. To welcome to welcome Canadian investors in Slovenia and vice versa.
Excellent. Okay, wonderful. Thank you for sharing. And I don't know if we want to make the second person come all the way up. Maybe they can share with you, Simon, and Simon, you can share with us. If we don't want to have all this movement back and forth.
Hi.
Oh,
So
thank
my name
you.
is Adam
Thank
Karam.
you.
Basically, I was honored to visit Canada for 1 month, and I'm also a friend of Simon, and we know each other professionally. So basically, I was visiting Canada and different provinces and so on, and I learned a lot about his business. And I pitched in front of cosmetic company.
And what would you say your biggest challenge was? Sorry, I don't have your name.
Basically, Sarah.
Sarah,
A
tell us
huge
about your
challenge.
biggest challenge when you were pitching to Canadian investors.
I mean,
That's really what we want to
actually,
get to.
Actually, Simon prepared me well, so I didn't have any challenge. Maybe some technical problems.
Right.
I would say that he told me a lot of things that are going on when, especially Slovenian companies are in Canadian. So yes, I would say
Okay,
that nothing.
thank you. Thank you, Sarah. Okay,
Yeah.
so now that I have a little bit more of a feeling of, who we have in the audience and what kind of experience you have, I feel better equipped to dive in and share some practical tools and strategies with you today. So as I see it and what I hear around the world when I work both with founders, with leading global high-tech companies, I work with Monday.com, Align Technology, Microsoft, and I also work with smaller, mid-sized companies as well as startups. And the biggest concern that I hear is that people feel like the audience doesn't get it. They're not able to impart in a few short moments the core of what it is they're trying to do. And that's even more difficult when we have different mentalities, different languages, different accents, right? That can make it even more difficult to get that core message, that crystal message across. One of my specialization is actually working with people who are not mother tongue English. I work with plenty of Canadians and Americans, but I myself am Israeli, and I've spent many years working with Israelis, Russians, Spanish speakers, Russian speakers, and so on and so forth. So there is a particular set of challenges that I believe that you have when it comes to communicating and pitching to investors. But the bottom line for everybody, whether we're completely comfortable and feel at home in English or whether we don't, the bottom line for everybody is how do we actually get their attention in just 5 minutes, whether they're a Canadian investor or a local investor in Slovenia. And, 5 minutes is actually not precise. It's not the exact truth because the truth is that investors make their decisions in the first 10 to 30 seconds. That's what research shows us. When you're coming and you're pitching to an investor, they need to get it. In the first 10 to 30 seconds, they need to get the story. They need to get what's happening in order to actually agree to listen. You can be standing there for 5 minutes. It doesn't mean that they're listening. And in my experience here locally in Toronto, working with founders and with investors, it's very rare that that story comes through right away with a click in those first 10 to 30 seconds. I actually met Karen from Ojai, who spoke today, through a local startup accelerator here in Toronto, where I have been mentoring. I've been the lead pitch coach there for the last year. So I've accompanied about 150 founders in the past year working here in Toronto. And I wanted to share a problem statement with you that was delivered in the first 10 to 15 seconds of a pitch that was selected as the 5 finalists for one of the showcases of this accelerator. So the accelerator begins with about 50 founders, and by the end of it, 5 are selected. And this one that I'm showing you actually ended up winning the showcase. And the reason I'm showing it to you is because one of the judges, who is a very leading investor here in Toronto, mentioned that this one-liner did a great job of defining the problem. Now, this was a judge that wasn't very positive and wasn't easily throwing out compliments. So the fact that she said something good really intrigued me as a pitch coach, because I also worked with this finalist. And I want to share that one-liner with you. This company is called CrewScope. They've actually just gone through another round of investment here in Toronto. They're doing very well as a startup. And what they do is they help construction teams. Now, let me read you this one-liner, and I want us to talk about it. I want to open to the crowd here what we think caught the attention of this investor, of this judge. Eva Lau is her name, if you want to look her up. The construction industry is in the midst of a labor crisis. We're 500,000 workers short. 40% of them are set to retire by the end of the decade, and productivity is declining by 1% annually since 1970. So I want to put it out to the audience. What is it about this statement that caught the investors' attention so quickly? Who can share with me? Any thoughts? The problem. Okay, what about it though? What about the problem? Simon, can you repeat for us? Because they're far away. We don't.
Valerie said that we are 500,000 workers short. That could be an opportunity.
Great, wonderful. So we see that we have a very clearly defined problem that was established early on in the first 10 seconds, and that went a great deal towards defining for the investor the fact that they want to listen to the story. Because the first thing they need to understand in the first 30 seconds is the fact that there's a story here that they understand and that they want to listen to. And this idea of one single line, whether it's a problem line, a solution line, or the big idea, I'm not sure if some of you have done the homework for today, and if not, that's fine. We're going to do it together. But this idea of a single line that encapsulates clearly within it what your product is about is super crucial. So much so that Michael Moritz, the famous investor who was invested in Google's early days, clearly said in an interview that if an entrepreneur cannot express their entire idea, not just problem, the problem and solution, the whole 9 yards, in one sentence, I'm not interested. Now, I don't know how many of you already have a clear one sentence. Can we have a show of hands for those who have a clear one sentence that has their problem and solution in it, what we call the big idea? Nobody, right? Nobody has it? I see one. Okay, so we've got so we've got one person. Sorry, I can't hear what this one person is saying in our awkward situation here together, but we're managing. He's coming up. Thank you guys. You guys are
yeah. Just
awesome.
You'll have to like do some acrobatics, but we will turn the camera out towards Borut. There we go.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Okay, my pitch.
Yes, your one-liner, not your pitch, your one-liner. You're not doing your whole pitch.
Yeah. Today's time, artificial intelligence is replacing most of our jobs, and we are forced. And what I am reviving, sharing, and seeding is the passion to go back into handcraft. Exactly, talking about exactly is 19th century glass photography. So basically 19th century photography, like making a contra-revolution in the midst of digital revolution.
Okay.
So analog photography in 19th century, like that.
Analog photography in AI, in the AI age.
Basically reviving the magic of photography instead of being everything standardized, everything programmed, everything preset. You go back, like, and I'm not talking about 50, but I'm talking about 170 years ago, glass plates, bellow cameras, slow down everything, and enjoying this. And on top of everything, I'm doing this in the middle of the forest of Kochevsky Rog. So in the middle of a vast forest, meaning it's also connecting to the nature, and when we are outside of the signal range, I mean, of mobile signal range. So that's another thing that my customers are very appreciating.
I love it. I love it. Thank you very much. I think I don't know if the audience is clapping, but thank you very much. Reviving the magic of slow photography in the AI-driven age is something that I'm coming up
Also
with.
have Tali, we also have one of his customers right here with us. So
oh, wonderful. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, so we can see how even now, as he shared that one sentence with us, it wasn't crystal at first, right? It required some iteration, right? And I imagine that this is the product of many months, perhaps years of work. So we know for a fact that your pitch, your one-liners are something that will accompany you through the lifelong journey of your product, something that you will want to be changing again and again and again. So what are we going to do here today in the short 45 minutes we have together, and what are you going to walk away with? First, I want to actually speak to you about how you're going to brainstorm your big idea, the seed to your entire pitch, and that clear one-liner that we know investors want. Second, we're going to talk about the 3 foundational lines of a pitch: a problem, a solution, and of course, the big idea. And lastly, if we have time, which I'm not sure that we will, but I hope we will, I want to spend a moment and talk about the overall pitch experience. Now, who you see here on the screen is, of course, the famous Steve Jobs in a very passionate moment on stage doing some of his acrobatics for the audience. And the reason I chose him is because your big idea, your one-liner, as well as your entire pitch, all need to come from your passion, right? Your passion is the driver for all of this. And if the investors sees that passion, as well as loves the story, believes with the product and in your team, when all of those stars align, then I believe that this is where the investor will choose, right? And this is what they will want to go with. So when it comes to my passion, we're going to start off with 3 questions, and then you're going to, in pairs, work on your big idea. I'm only going to give you 10 minutes so you can find someone who you know, or better yet, someone you don't know, because getting the outside perspective is always helpful, okay? So we're going to figure out 3 key questions in order to find out what is our big idea, right? So our founder friend who just came up, I don't know his name, his big idea was the magic of slow photography in a fast digital AI age right? In order to actually slow down and enjoy the art of it. Sounds fascinating to me. And clearly it comes from his passion. So our first question is, how does my passion relate to this product? But the other side of it, which of course we cannot ever forget, is how can this passion move your audience, right? How will your audience move to your passion? How will it drive them? Because if our passion doesn't drive our audience, then it's not the right passion, is it? We always have to keep, of course, our audience in mind. Now, the third question that I want to share with you is about the essence of your pitch. Given that you only have 10 to 30 seconds to get the audience's attention, the number one single question that you want to make sure is in the forefront of your mind: what is the one thing I want them to remember the next day? You have to choose one thing, and that's where you begin to craft your big idea. Most people are not driven by this question. Most people are driven by, what do I want to share? What's the information I want to deliver? What are the benefits? That's not the right driver for a concise pitch. When we want to get to the core and the essence of what we're trying to say, we need to choose the one thing we want them to remember the next day. And I want to show you an example. I want to actually give you a quick 1-minute video straight from Silicon Valley. This is a famous product called To-Do. They were the predecessor to today's Slack. Of course, they died after Slack showed up, right? Because everyone's on Slack now. But To-Do was very promising when it came out. And their pitch made huge waves and impact. So I want to just show you the first 30 seconds to a minute, because that's what we're focusing on today. And I want you to tell me, what is the passion here? What are they most passionate about? That's the question I want you to answer. Here we go.
Good morning, everybody. I'm delighted to be here. My name is David, co-founder of To-Do, and as Patrick was saying, we are a team of productivity experts. And we are revolutionizing the way people organize themselves, share knowledge and information by reinventing online collaboration.
Right? First 20 seconds, that's all I gave you. What's their passion? What do they want? What do we understand from those first 20 seconds? Simon, if you could get an answer and share with us.
Collaboration, organizing, reinvention.
Right. So they're reinventing organization, right? For the collaborative world. Let's take a close look at their first breath, right? I like to call it the first breath because what you lead with, the first thing that comes out of your mouth, that's what people hold on to. That's how they make their decisions. So we always want to make sure that what we lead with perhaps isn't our name, perhaps isn't our title, perhaps isn't even the name of the product, right? Perhaps what we lead with is exactly the passion that we're trying to convey. Let's look at what David started with. We are a team of productivity experts. We're revolutionizing the way people organize themselves, share knowledge and information by reinventing online collaboration. So when we hear all this, what do we think? Let's analyze a little bit. Productivity experts, they know what they're doing, right? They're trying to position themselves as experts. The way people organize themselves, so we quickly understand that the main idea here, the big idea, is moving from chaos and a mess to organization. Revolutionizing the way people organize themselves, we understand that they're trying to position themselves as innovative and useful, right? So the bottom line, I believe you all will agree, is that we're curious, right? We want to hear more, and that's all we're going for. All we're going for in those first 30 seconds is getting the investors to be like, okay, a little bit of a lean in, right? Now, what is David's big idea, right? We talked today about the fact that I want you to have a big idea. Well, what was David's big idea? And let's see if we can understand from that what a big idea is. David's big idea was bringing order to the chaos of online collaboration tools by, and we haven't heard the by yet because I only showed you the first 20 seconds, by integrating numerous functions in one simple centralized command box, because that is the to-do product. So I want to speak for a moment about what a big idea is. A big idea is actually the essence of your product, right? It's what's highlighting for us both what it is you do and how you do it. And I want to show you a very interesting formula that you can be using in order to craft your big idea. Let's take a look. So if we look at David's case, we have their what, and the what that they chose, the benefit that they chose that to highlight of what they're bringing to their audience, to their users, not their audience, the benefit they're bringing to their users is order instead of chaos for collaboration. That's the what, yes? Now, what is their how? Their how, which we didn't see yet in the video, is that they integrate numerous functions into one simple centralized command box. That's to do, that's the product. Now, when we create a big idea, we need the how because that how is the proof, right? It's the proof of what it is that we're doing. It's the persuasion. We can't just say what, we have to clearly highlight how. And when we put those two together, we have a one-liner big idea. And this one-liner big idea is the foundation for a good pitch. I want to show you one more one-liner big idea, and I'm going to show you Airbnb. I think that we all can agree that Airbnb is doing well, and so I think they're a good place to start in terms of a big idea. And if you look here, I want to look at their big idea. I'm going to wait with their problem and solution for now, but their big idea is belong anywhere. Look at how succinct and crystal that is. We remember Michael Moritz saying an startup, a founder needs to be able to articulate their message in one sentence or I'm not interested. Look at how Airbnb's one sentence begins with two words that already reveal so much of their essence. Belong anywhere, turn any home into a place to stay and experience the world like a local. Right? This is a really important part, a foundation, if you will, of how we create our pitch. So here's what we're going to do now. We're going to get one exercise today. We're going to spend 10 minutes with your partner and you're going to work on your big idea. I'm going to drop a link right now, and I will also put it up on the screen for those of you who don't have a laptop. So I'm going to drop a link to an exercise deck, and we're going to spend 10 minutes on an exercise of how we create the big idea. So here is the exercise. We're going to use the what and how model, and we're going to create one single line. While keeping in mind, as we create this one-liner, we want to keep in mind these important 3 questions about the passion and the essence. Okay? I hope we're all clear on what we're doing. Simon, can you check with the team if we're all clear on what we're doing while I give you the link?
Person next to you, doesn't matter. We have everyone, yeah. If anybody doesn't have a pair, raise your hand, otherwise, work with the person next to you. Yep, everyone okay?
Okay, great. So we have the exercise on the screen. I've also dropped a link to the exercise deck that's open for sharing that anyone can come into. I've dropped that link in the chat. I would love it if we could take 10 minutes, not more than that. And I want you to actually do some brainstorming, perhaps with someone who you don't know, and try to see if you can pitch them your big idea. Simon, are we good? Can you?
Ja, to vašo idejo, ki imate poslovno. Ja. Did you guys understand? Ste razumeli, če rabi do klarifikacijo? Ja, odgovore na te 3 vprašanja. Pa v bistvu skupaj jih pa predelate.
Simon? Simon, we're going to do 3 more minutes to wrap up.
3 more minutes? Yeah.
Yeah.
3 minutes. 3 minutes. All right.
Okay, Simon, can we go ahead? Simon, can you get some big ideas from people and deliver them to me? Like ask a couple of people, we'll ask a couple of people what their big idea is that they came up with, and you can share with me so that we don't have to move back and forth.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Nahon, يلا.
תודה.
Okay, everybody, the time is up for your idea creation. We would like to, whoever has the answers first. Who has the answers?
Who has the answer?
Anybody has the answers yet? Written down? Any answers written down? For the no? You guys have? Okay, you guys have the answer? Anybody else have the answer? No? Okay, you guys have the answer. So
it can even be a draft. If anyone has the draft, it doesn't have to be anything polished, you know, we only had 10 minutes. If anyone has a draft of their big idea that they want to share, if they can please share it with Simon, and Simon will share it with the rest of us.
Okay, I'm going to explain my idea. I thought you can come here and sit on my chair here. Come the other way, yes.
Thank you guys for being so flexible and collaborative with our setup today. I really appreciate the effort you're making.
One second. There we go.
Great.
Thank you, everyone.
What's your name?
Hi. My name is Darko. I'm from a company named Quizmo. My passion is about solving problems. Currently, there's a big problem with giving support, giving information to clients. whether whether it's the working hours that are limiting the support coming to the clients, and companies are wasting a lot of time and money on repetitive routine support, more or less complex tasks. And my idea is how to use well-crafted artificial intelligence to help solve routine and complex tasks.
Okay, good.
Yeah, and what I would like my clients to remember the next day is that I have the solution to bringing their customers answers to questions or tasks that they might have.
Very nice. So you did a great job on defining your what. Your what is very clear. You're solving everyday problems with AI. What we still need to work on and develop is your how. Your how, just AI, is very general. So we want a more specific definition of the how it is that you're solving these problems using AI. But very, very good for a first draft for 10 minutes. Well done. Does anybody else want to share? Thank you.
Thank you.
Simon, do we have any other ones interested in sharing before we move on?
Anybody else would like to share? Does anybody else have it? Today, maybe you? Come on, come on.
Great.
Great. Oh, wow.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Very famous personality.
Oh my God, no, no, no. That was my past experience from the media.
It's my honor to meet the celebrity.
Thank you so much. Okay, we were talking about with the colleagues, so I just want to introduce a little bit. I'm today, and I'm coming from cycling industry. We have a startup company, actually a cycling shoe, high-end product, cycling shoe. So we were like, before that, my partner is coming from skating industry. So the company behind is producing high-end skate shoes for world and Olympic champions. So in the Corona time, then we decided, okay, let's guys make something new because we are specialized in producing carbon soles. So then we produced the high-end cycling shoe, which is completely handmade and heat moldable. And not just that, it's developed with cycling champions from Slovenia. And this is our idea. So what we did and what we wanted to do is to give to the market, to the cyclist, a cycling shoe which is heat moldable. So we are solving problem immediately. You can heat mold it in the oven. So maybe I said right now what and how, maybe mixed everything together, but in short, this is our story. And right now we already have ambassadors, which is like Domen Novak in UAE team driving with Tadej Pogačar and Luka Mezgec. So two really famous cyclists in really short time, in short period of time. They're our ambassadors, and right now we are like, let's say, scaling. It's actually second year for us in the market. It's a little bit struggling because we are opening markets, but this is it in short, let's say.
Well done. Well done. Very nice. So we have a clear what and we have a clear how. Wonderful. Okay, so let's thank you for sharing. Let's get the camera back to the audience, please, so I can see you guys. So guys, you know, what we did here was just a quick 10 minutes, the beginning of brainstorming. I want to continue now and talk about both the problem and solution statements briefly, but what I really, really want is for you to take this exercise home and for you to sit there and iterate and figure out what is your passion, what is your big idea, and how can you put those together in order to craft your pitch. Simon, how are we doing on time before I continue?
All is good. We still have at least 5:30 our time, so we have at least 50 more minutes.
Sorry, at least 15 minutes?
We have at least 15 more minutes, yes.
Great. Okay, wonderful. So we'll do the final 15 minutes. So I do want to continue and just give a little bit more strategies and advice regarding the problem and solution. We started with the big idea. That's the foundation of our house, of our pitch. And the big idea is where we, at a high level, talk about what we do and how we do it, right? We talk about the essence at a high level. The problem is where we get into why this is important, why this matters in more detail, yes? And the solution, which we do usually touch on the big idea, the solution is where we get into more greater detail around the how, around the operations. So people sometimes get mixed up with the solution statement and the big idea statement. So I actually want to use Airbnb again to clarify those three, because these are the three one-liners that are the foundation to your pitch. And only when you know these three one-liners inside and out, and they resonate with you and with your passion, are you able to then deliver and get them to resonate with your audience. So the big idea we already said for Airbnb is belong anywhere, right? Turn any home into a place to stay and experience the entire world like a local, right? Like you fit right in. The problem that Airbnb recognized was that travelers often struggle to find affordable, authentic places to stay, where they're able to connect with local culture and not just feel like a tourist. And the solution, notice now how the big idea is different from the solution where we go into more of a deep dive of the how. The solution is that we provide a digital platform that connects travelers with locals, offering accommodation around the world. So what we're noticing here is how simple and clear these statements are. And I want to give you three tools in terms of the language to help you craft your three statements in case you haven't, or in case it's time to reiterate and level up. And here are three important pillars when creating your pitch statements. It's got to be simple, it's got to be relevant, and it's got to be impactful. What does that mean, right? Let's get into a little bit more detail there. So in terms of simplicity, you need to make it simple for the brain in front of you, the investor brain, to understand what you're saying. So if we think about Airbnb, what did they do? Connect travelers with locals. Look at how simple that is. Creating such a simple statement is the hardest thing there is to do. I'll give you an example. The famous TechCrunch editor, Jordan Cook, for those of you who are, I'm sure, familiar with TechCrunch, she once did a funny little call out on Twitter to all kinds of companies and said, hey, you know, startups, send me your pitch with as many buzzwords as possible, and then do it again with no buzzwords. Yes, and this caught, you know, like a flame, and everybody sent in their pitches. And the one that I really liked was from Stephen Simony. He first showed his pitch, his one-liner with a lot of buzzwords. Look at this. B2B enterprise order plus workflow management software for casual FSR operators and hoteliers. Yeah, using the most buzzwords and complex language he could. And then he gave a simple stripped down version. People order food and drinks on their phone inside your restaurant. Right? So when we're thinking of one of the three pillars for crafting our statements, we want to be simple. We want to strip it down to the bare bones that will be easiest for the brain in front of us to understand. The next pillar that I want to talk about is we want to be relatable. We want to leverage existing knowledge and concepts that we all share as part of the human experience. So if I reference back to Airbnb, enables people to feel at home. We all instantly know what home is. So being relatable in your language, in your concepts, when you're crafting these pitches, can ensure a wider impact, right? The more people who can relate to what it is that you're saying, the more likely you are to create that engagement and attention from the investors to listen to your 5 minutes, right? Because they make that decision so early on. And lastly, we want impactful language. We want high impact words and verbs, right? Notice we've seen a lot of high impact words and verbs so far. Travelers often struggle, right? Struggle is a verb. We have Airbnb enables people to feel at home, right? We have struggle to find affordable, authentic places to stay and connect with local culture. Why do we have all of these verbs, right? It creates urgency. Notice they are in present tense. They make it feel like it's happening right now. And they also give across this feeling of doing, of moving. We struggle, we find, we connect, right? So we want to keep in mind the language with simple, relatable, present tense, verbs, and high impact. Those are all things that we want to keep in mind as we're crafting our 3 statements. So for homework, you guys have to create the problem, solution, and big idea to continue to craft those statements in order to create the actual foundation to your pitch. Now, I want to close with not just talking about the language and the concept. I actually want to close by bringing forward what this also looks like, because we have 3 layers when it comes to our pitch experience. It's not just what we say, it's also how we say it. It's also what we look like visually, as well as what our slides look like. And lastly, and perhaps most importantly, it's how we feel, which in turn changes how we make them feel. So we talked about how our pitch foundation needs to emanate from passion. And the question that I want to put to the group as we watch our last final video for today is, what does passion look like? I want to show you another winner from the showcase at the Startup Accelerator where I mentor. I get the opportunity to showcase some of these founders who I work with on their pitches. So it's a wonderful joy for me to see them succeed. This founder actually won first place. And I want you to notice, I'm just going to give you the intro, just that first minute to see if it hooks you. I want you to tell me what you see in terms of the big idea, problem, solution, and more importantly, what does passion look like, right? Not just what does it sound like, what does it look like? Here we go.
I want everyone in the crowd who has ever worked for or worked with or sold to the government to please raise your hand. Ministers, please raise your hand. I see you in the front. Every single one of you understands the pain I experienced every day. The worst part of my job at Deloitte. Finding and winning work with the government sucks. It sucks. And for everyone who didn't raise your hand, I'm going to explain why. Basically, if a city like Toronto is looking for work from a construction company to build a road, or a company like Deloitte to change its computer systems, it puts out what we call an RFP, a request for proposal document. They're long, they're confusing, and they're challenging to deal with. And I would spend hours every week trying to find relevant RFPs for my team, and then I'd have to read through these 100 pages just to determine if we were actually going to bid. And when we did, that's when the real pain began. I'd spend weeks copy-pasting chunks of information from old proposals, old documents, to make and tailoring them to the proposal in question. And you know, If this process sucked at a company as big as Deloitte, government contrasting must be broken.
Okay, so Simon, I'd love to hear from the audience. What do we think about what does passion look like? And what do we think about the big idea, problem, and solution statements in terms of this first 1 minute of the winner of the showcase for this cohort?
Sorry, Ali, can you repeat the question?
So first of all, what do we think of his big idea, the problem, the solution from what he's told us? What do we think about his statements and about his passion, how they're related to his passion?
Alenka?
He's talking about the problem that everybody's facing, and it's like hopefully even though the people who are on the other side that they are a problem. He's saying, I mean, he's genuine. I find him genuine.
Simon, can you share with us?
Yeah,
or
so
share
Alenka
with me?
said that,
they've heard.
Yeah, basically what Alenka said that he's she
genuine.
noticed
I
the
think she
person was
said
very
he's
genuine in the way he was describing the
Excellent.
problem and how it affects him personally and his business.
Excellent, excellent. Any others? I completely agree. Any others?
Any others?
About the problem statement, the big idea, or his passion?
There was no big idea yet. It was just like we felt his pain.
Right.
Boris said there was no big idea yet. We felt his pain.
Right. So he actually chose to begin with his problem, right? And as has been captured here, it came off very genuinely, very authentically. So that what we see is that passion isn't just a driver for the messaging, that passion is very much the driver for the entire presentation, the verbal, the visual, and the emotional component. And I think that in the case that we saw here with Joe from Publicus, is that he showed up as himself, right? He showed up as himself, both in the language he used and in the delivery. And that's the last thing that I want to impart to you guys, is that at the heart of a compelling pitch is your passion, your authentic connection to the product. And that's what's most likely to win over the investors. Thank you so much, guys, for spending this hour with me. Simon will be sure to give you the one-pager in case you haven't had a chance to review it. And I hope that this can be the foundation for your pitch.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Tali. Thank you, Simon, for hosting in Slovenia. We have, Tali, can we have another few minutes with you for questions from the audience?
Please, I can do 5 minutes.
Great, thank you very much. Online on Zoom, if you want to turn on your cameras, put up your hand if you have a question for Karen or for Tali. And Simon, just start in the room if there's any questions or comments.
There's a question from the audience. Borut asked if Tali knows that she has a very Slovenian last name.
No, I don't. Thank you.
It's very typical Slovenian last name.
All right, wonderful. Perfect. I fit right in.
Yeah, it's just like my big fat Greek wedding. Everybody has a Slovenian connection, I think, somehow.
John,
yes, Mr.
I think
Doma.
John has a name.
You're on mute. John, please. There you go.
That's a good thing. Anyways, Talia, do you know Open People's Network by chance?
Open People's Network? No.
They do pitches as well. I should get you introduced to them.
Sure.
If I can ask, do you actually help companies develop their pitch or people?
Yes.
So you could be engaged for that kind of service then?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. No, your presentation is very good.
Thank you.
But I'm not very good at putting things together the way you do it. You always make it look so simple.
Right.
But when I sit down and try and do it, it never
hard.
goes simply.
That's
but
right.
I just thought I'd ask that question for everybody else to know here, okay?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, what we'll make sure is that the contacts and the information regarding Karen's and Tali's companies is shared to all the participants. So that will be shared by email.
Wonderful. So thank you. If anybody does want to reach out, Sonia will be sharing my details. I'm on LinkedIn. You can contact me via email. Be very happy to discuss what you have. Even if you want just some quick advice, happy to be in contact with you guys.
Wonderful. And Tali and Karen, is it okay if we share your presentations with the group?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And of course, the presentations will also be on the video that I will edit. Is there any other questions from the room?
Okay. Any questions from the room? No.
No. Okay. Anything?
I'm gonna have to take leave, Sonia, after my next engagement. Wonderful meeting you guys. Good luck with your pitch journey, and hope to hear from you.
Thank you very much, Tali. Thank you, Karen.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so I will end the Canadian portion of our presentation. Thank you so much to everyone in Slovenia for joining us today. Please join with the Chamber. We're here to help you. We're your resource, and we're pleased to make these connections and help with your journey for your success. John, I don't know if you wanted to say anything else.
I just want to say, Karen and Talia, excellent presentation. I'm certainly going to look to engage you with a couple of things that we do here at our firm. And I'm sure some people at the presentation in Slovenia also very much enjoyed your comments. All very, very relevant. And, we learn from that. So that was excellent. Thank you very much.
Yeah, please, actually, I'll direct you to the canslo.com is our website. And if you go to the directory, we have vetted very professional companies that are here to help you in Slovenia and Canada. So please connect with each other through our website. So thank you for today. Hvala lepa. Happy Easter, everyone. Take care. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much, Sonia. And everyone, just for the end, there is some more info from our side for our Slovenian participants from Slovenia. Some of you are here in relation to the delegation that's being prepared for the fall in AI and space technologies. Some of you have not been informed about that, but there is a delegation going to Canada at the end of September, visiting the biggest Canadian fair in artificial intelligence called All In Conference. Part of the planned delegation is also an investment conference in Toronto, which this workshop is a really good first step in preparation. If you want more information about delegation, please write to us. Please write to Sonia and myself, and we'll provide you with the info. And if you're part of the delegation already, we are very much looking forward to see you in Canada, and hopefully have a couple more workshops to really prepare you to really have an impact on the Canadian market once you get there. Thank you very much. Thank you again, Sonia. Thank you, John, Tali, Karen, and thank you everyone for attending.
Okay, na svidenje. Bye.
Bye.